Hey guys, Blake from Chasing Creative, and today I meet with Marc from Mero Concepts. We're going to be talking about his new website build with Chasing Creative and also what his business does in Austin, Texas to serve the community by installing audio, visual, smart home technologies, and smart space technologies in residences and commercial buildings. Join us now. Hey guys, it's Blake from Chasing Creative, and I'm here with Marc from Mero. And today we're doing a retro to learn about Marc's business based in the greater Austin, Texas area and how Chasing Creative helped them build a new website. Thanks, Marc, for joining us.
Of course, Blake, thanks for having me. Pleasure to be here today.
Yeah, so for the audience and for folks listening, I've talked to a lot of people about what you do and they get excited about it because we all have offices, home spaces, places that we're entertaining. Tell me a little bit about concepts of Mero, and then also what you do with your business, maybe a little backstory for the audience that's coming here for the first time.
Yeah, sure. So Mero Concepts was started in 2013. I started it while I was still working a full-time job, and it was kind of put in front of me because we had a neighbor at the time that now is a friend, but he had some restaurants that had systems deployed, and they were very complicated, cumbersome, and the group that was putting them in at the time just wasn't doing a good follow-up. He had several locations, so I thought I could help him out with it. And that was prior to 2013. I got him kind of started in helping him out and thought, I can maybe make this a business. And so that's kind of what happened.
Sounds eerily familiar to how Chasing Creative started. So I think that's the true entrepreneur story is, you help out with a video here, photo shoot, or a website, and then we've gone through the same experience. But now I've just been blown away on the branding, the professionalism, the care to detail that I've seen, and then reviewing, obviously, because we built the website, all of the different portfolios that you guys have had. Do you currently have any kind of fun projects going on that you're able to share about? I know some things you can't share until they go live, but is there anything going on right now in the area that you're excited to bring to the community?
Yeah, actually, we have 3 projects. We just are... Sorry, 2 we wrapped, and 1 the guys are at right now today, finishing up that location. 2 of them are commercial, and 1's a residence. I'll start with the residence. That project for us was a previous customer. They were building another home, or their new home, and the homeowners wanted it to be a period piece home from the 30s. So it's very highly focused on almost no tech. So the challenge was, how do we get tech in the space where you don't want to see tech? And so it was a lot of fun. We got to do things with invisible speakers and frame TVs from Samsung and really kind of blending it into this space that looks, everything from the fixtures, the light fixtures, the vents on the ceiling are all period piece to the 30s, the woodwork, all of that. And so that was a lot of fun to integrate all of our solutions from control systems, lighting control from Lutron, security systems, security cameras, audio throughout the space, video zones, and using the works. Like they did everything in that space. So that was one we just finished, and we're excited for that piece.
I think that's going to be a common theme, by the way, too, not to interrupt you, but I think people are going to design their homes with this tech. And I think you're already seeing it with the Samsung frame TVs that you put in, where the tech is there, but you're not having your environment taken over by it. It's ingrained into the elements. And so I've actually not heard about that. And so it's cool to see it's like a new retrofit, almost like a new build that's in that period, but then has the new technology. That's pretty phenomenal.
Yeah. So that's the one project. And then we just finished another one. They opened, their grand opening was this past Monday, and it was a private preschool. And there, again, about 13,000 square feet. And we did essentially what we like to do is the same approach we take in a home, we want to put in a commercial space. So we want the familiarity of somebody that's, I want to understand, or they want to have the same experience at home and in their workspace. So similar approach, but a little bit, we were able to show the tech a little bit more because it needed to be functional. With video intercomming, security cameras, door entry system, audio throughout the whole space. So, we're big proponents of Sonos, and in this space and in that home, both are heavily based on a Sonos distributed audio system there. So the school, they opened Monday. We actually had our guys hang out for the day with them because it was a grand opening for them. And we wanted to be there to make sure little things came up, or if they need help with systems, new employees, that we were there to assist with it. So that was kind of nice. And right now, today, we are finishing up a wine bar here in Cedar Park that is opening next Thursday. And that solution is a lot of fun too, because we got to use something new from Sonos called the Air 100 Pros,
Okay.
which are PoE powered speakers. So
Oh,
no more
wow.
running traditional speaker cable, no big amps in a rack.
Low
Really
voltage.
kind of, yeah, low voltage, clean, simple. This owner came to us with the idea of this wine bar being not only him and his wife have been working on this for about 10, 15 years, this concept. And so
Yep.
they have vinyl set up, vinyl record play,
Oh, yeah. I
turntable.
love that.
And so people will be able to come in with their own albums, put them on, play
That's
them across the
awesome.
space, enjoy wine. They know a lot about wine, more than I don't drink. So I don't know about wine, but my wife knows about wine. But anyway, but yeah, it's a really exciting space that we're working on there. So those are our latest three projects
Yep.
that we finished and we're really happy with.
No, I love that. And I love how different each of the projects are, from the commercial applications and then the educational, and then obviously the residential and customizing the residential. And I think you guys help people with a lot more as you're going through the process, because you can help them think through the design elements, the newest tech that's available, and then also the dependable tech. And I've seen that when we've been building out the website of like, not every tool is necessarily what you think. You got to see how they all work. They're incorporated together. I know I've been talking about with my wife, Jasmine, how we've kind of piecemealed everything around the house. And so we're using like 3 different apps and 5 different things. And I love that your platform and what you work on, what you do is like, you care about the aesthetics, you care about the tech, and then you care about the unification for all those things. So customers, when they come into a place, are happy, customers are happy. And that really shines through in the branding. And another thing I want to touch on too, that I really loved about working with you, is seeing that the dedication to time. So something unique you and I kicked off this project with originally, maybe you could speak to a little bit, is most projects when we get hired at Chasing Creative is about how fast can you get it done. And you and I had a good conversation about, well, there's nothing wrong with that approach. And we did actually work pretty quickly together, which is awesome. But we didn't have that as the end goalpost. We had building something that's quality, that's an amazing foundation that we can build on for the next several years to catch up with the brand, because the website before was great. Visually is nice, but now we've evolved it to where this is a custom built website. Nobody else has what you have, the way that it's set up, the functionality, and the things that we keep adding into it. What made you as an entrepreneur, kind of in a world that's always about speed and fast, say, we want to hire you, Blake, as an agency? But before we get into it, because even before we kind of move forward, you're like, I want to make sure we're agreed on this point of kind of taking our time.
Yeah, that was actually one of the great things working with you and your agency, was the understanding that we weren't looking just to get something up and quick. And I think, for me, I read a book probably about 8 months ago called The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. And
Okay.
it made me realize, as our society keeps speeding us up and as we keep moving faster and faster because of just trying to cram a bunch of stuff in,
Yeah.
sometimes we're just rushing to the thing and
Yes.
then we're either redoing it or we're just not quite as happy.
Right.
And so, yeah, with you, it was nice and refreshing because there were companies, you weren't the only company at the time we were looking at. I
Yeah, I
think
know.
we had spoken to 2 to 3 other groups, and then we had our current company we were with.
Yes.
And there was nothing wrong. The company we were with prior, we had been with them for a long period,
Yep.
about 9 years. And I wanted just kind of a fresh approach. I wanted somebody to come to us from outside our industry and look at it a little differently. So that helped a lot. And then just
And that's
making
the
sure.
agency game too. Like on my end, we've had the same thing. Like, and I've seen this even being, in companies of head of marketing. A marketing shift in the team that you're working with can often lead to new inspiration. So it's never always about like the current team isn't good enough, or they don't know what they're doing, or we don't like it. Sometimes it's about change that puts a new inspiration and energy into a project. And I think that's where we come along. Like even working with a lot of existing teams, we've done that in the past at Chasing Creative. So I totally hear you what you're saying there.
Yeah. And I agree. That was the thing. I wanted just a fresh approach.
Yeah.
And again, the ability to slow it down a bit and kind of get, I think you gave us a date of originally it was like the beginning of September. And I'm like, hey, we're good with it. That's a great goal. And I don't want it to drag on forever. But if we can just make sure we're actually delivering most of what we want when we're ready to versus just putting it up and getting it up there. So
100%. And we've learned that. That's been great to get that feedback too, because I think as an agency, we always assume that people want to work quickly just because the environment that we're in and generic kind of client templates that we've had in the past of people are like, we want to start in this month and we want to have this. And that's really a big decision factor of why we've had so many customers for websites in the past. But I do think now we've kind of reworked our SOPs and our onboarding. When we meet with a client, we're actually just fully engaging and listening before we're even talking about timelines. And then we figure out the working language too, because sometimes we're all busy. Like you're working on 3 different projects at once, building a website. I'm sure there's a list of other things going on. We're the same way. If a project feels rushed, then you kind of miss out on things. And really in this project, we saw that perfectly with the homepage. We designed the homepage. We had one set, and we just looked at it for a few weeks and we're like, okay, there's something kind of not right here. And you and I had some great meetings, and I would even say light creative conflict that was really good to say, this isn't quite hitting the mark. Like what can hit the mark? And that collaborative tension is something that like I really want to embrace as an agency. But we also, I think, can do a really good job as an agency to explain that to our clients. You're naturally that way. You look at things aesthetically. You want to take your time. You want to be detailed in it. And that was something great for us. It was an advantage in the project, I would say. But for us, we've learned we might have to coach, or we might have to outline like, hey, these are the things that we want you to look for with the web build. It's not about just like, let's check this task list off and get on to the next thing. It's about, let's take our time and look at it. And maybe we're going to slide that over a little bit or update this, or maybe that image doesn't quite hit the way that we want it to. And I think that was something that was great to collaborate with you guys on this project. Is that something that you've also learned kind of with these builds that you've done in different locations, that rushing something it's an option and you can do it, but it might not always lead to the best outcomes?
I agree. Yeah. So we've been in those things where we've hit timelines, or that we've been asked to hit a tight timeline.
Yep.
And in the past, we would try to accommodate only to have to go back or remake, not get it to what we really wanted it to be, and then have to capitulate in the way of like, well, we're going to get there once we get here, do this thing, we'll do this tweak, and just given time for the process to kind of work itself out. Like you said, looking at an image or looking at a layout. But I also look to you guys as the experts, because I have my opinion of what I like to see, but I'm not a marketing agency. So I may push something back and say, I don't know if I want this. And you will come back and say, yes, I can understand that, but this is why you want to attract this person in our game.
Yeah. Some of the technical stuff too, of like, it's kind of we have to do it for best practices, but it's, you agree on the point. And that's one of the things we've learned too, is we have to kind of walk through that and explain, okay, well, the reason we have to have this verbiage here, we both don't really love how it looks, but this is how the systems work and drive traffic. And ultimately, that's our goals, where you have a website where people can be educated. And then when they reach out, they know what you do. And then you're able to, one, close the lead faster, but then also serve them better. One other thing too, that we don't have to dive into the specifics, but let's talk about pricing for a second. So you're shopping around for an agency. Again, you don't have to share the exact numbers, but I know that we did have some cost savings for you ongoing because of the type of maintenance package we offer to our clients. And that's something for the audience, like if they're tuning in, like we build a website, but then we really push to stick with those clients for a year on a retainer that's not aggressive, that's not going to suck budget, but is saying, hey, we're here to support you. If you need changes or updates or blogs and light SEO and things like that, we want to provide that. So can you speak to a little bit about, as you were shopping around, how you looked at the approach of getting value, but also having cost savings or affordability within a project too, because we're all protecting our margins as service businesses and businesses in general today?
Yeah. So for us, I wanted to have, the agency we were with prior, we had a similar kind of monthly subscription.
Yep. Very common.
And it went into like a 3-year term they wanted us to sign to lock in a price. But then what I felt happened there was it went into cruise control. And then it was just, I wasn't seeing the value for what I was spending. But when you came to me and said, hey, we're going to have this upfront cost, which I understood and wanted to make that investment. And then it made sense to have that maintenance cost, which was fitting into our budget. It wasn't the least expensive, but it wasn't near what we could have been spending. And
that's
so
where we want to be. So that's what we love to hear, is like, we're not trying to be crazy in the market. We're trying to provide affordability to entrepreneurs and businesses that also, to your point, makes it so we're not on cruise control. Because you can guarantee if an agency is not charging you what is fair or reasonable, they're not paying attention to your account probably. It probably is going to an autopilot. And that's just a natural thing that can happen to any agency. We challenge ourselves on weekly calls to make sure we're not doing that with our clients. And we're very proactive.
Yeah. So again, I'm excited to see, for me, I look at this as a long-term relationship.
Yep.
And return on investment for me is a little different than maybe another company. So I don't put everything, I'm very, as much as I probably should put things into a spreadsheet, I don't put them as tight into a spreadsheet because we're not a spreadsheet kind of company. We've
Yes.
had clients come to us and try to put us into a spreadsheet. And as soon as they do that, I can tell we're not going to
Never
work
works.
well together because there's nuances to everything that we do. And same thing with your
You're
group,
speaking my language.
that you can't put it into there. You can't lock it into that.
Yes. Yeah. And that's one of the things we've learned too. We've quoted out projects and then itemized thing more in the video production space. And when we do that, it kind of takes away the magic of the creative because it is just a spreadsheet and you're looking at the hard numbers and then you're starting to say, let's make everything about cost savings versus outcomes. And I totally respect that. Whenever I go to do anything as a business owner, I'm looking for the best cost, but I'm also totally happy. And I've sensed this with you, paying a good price to somebody that I think is just going to get the work done the first time versus having to go back to it. And I think that's something that it's a hard lesson to learn because we always trying to protect our margins. But after a few projects and you've done a few things, you're like, okay, I'm getting what I'm paying for, that classic saying over and over. But yeah, we're kind of wrapping up here. I don't want to keep you too long. I appreciate you jumping on this retro. I love to do this with clients. And right after a project, we just went live and we have kind of a soft launch on the website. And so we'll be tweaking and updating. And we've done a lot of SEO work over the last 24 hours, even to get things up to par where we want them and QAing things and finding things that we want to update as we go live. And we love to just put things out in the world, get it live, start to tool around with it and make sure that everything is looking good. But anything that you wanted to share about this experience or about Mero Concepts, what folks can look for?
Well, the experience itself, like I said, has been really good. I've been really excited. It was kind of nice when we were going live. I think, it was cool. You and I emailing back and forth and just like, hey, I see this little thing. And you're like, yep, on it. I make this adjustment. And then it was like in real time.
Oh yeah,
So
100%.
yeah, so
That stuff bothers us too. Our brand is your brand. So when we see those things, we're like, that represents us. And believe me, we're still going through with a fine tooth comb and finding every little thing that we can.
Yeah. And for us, for Mero Concepts, we're a boutique integration group. We're small, but it's not just wordplay. It's like we do care. We stay with the customer. Most of our customers are repeat for us, probably like what you want to see with your customers and long term. So a lot of these projects like that new school we're doing, well, that's an owner that's been with us since 2017 that has several schools. And
that's reputation. That's hard to build today.
And that's what we're trying to do because we don't want to be here just for the moment. We want to be here down the road because that's what we feel. That's how I want to be treated. That's the relationships I want to have with companies and groups I work with is a longer term, being a good steward to not only just what the customer or what we need, but also just the whole approach to everything. So
yeah, I mean, I just want to thank you and your team. Your philosophy has been great as how you approach creativity and projects. You've been very pragmatic, creative, feedback in real time when we've needed it. Going live felt so easy because we were communicating in real time. And there's things that, as the owner of the assets, that sometimes it's hard to get to. And those are some of the hiccups and confusions can happen with agencies. And we try our best to not have those things happen, but it is part of all of these processes changing. And it was cool. And we did it at a great time in the evening where we didn't have customers that might be looking for information to go live. And now it's live. And I've shared it with several different people, including in large corporates who have seen the website and they're really impressed with what you've done. And I give a lot of credit to you because the custom images that you have, videos and creative, and as much as I love AI and we embrace it in our work and what we do, there is the attention to detail of having like really real photos and having like a time and investment in the creative process. And I've seen you do that with investing with photographers in your area and things like that too. So for us, it's really fun to be a part of projects where we have these amazing images and testimonials and content that we can build the website on. It makes our lives a lot easier. And it's only going to increase now that we have this great source for you to put even more of those. So thanks so much for your time, Mark, and jumping on this retro. We look forward to working with you as we're going to continue on the website and a few other ideas that we have cooking.
That's great. Thank you for putting this together and having me on. I appreciate it. It's good work. It's been great working with you, Blake. So thanks.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to learn more about Mero Concepts. If you're interested in growing your company with Chasing Creative, hit the link below or shoot us a DM or leave a comment. We'd love to chat with you on how we can scale and grow together. Cheers.